Yes, how we doing, everybody? I'm dancing. It's getting hot out here. It's getting hot in the transfer market for United. And I tell you what, after years of watching our football club delay, of all the summers for us to be doing it, this is not the one I would have expected. But Manchester United have already signed Mason Mount. We are on the verge of agreeing a 55 million euro deal for Andre Onana from Inter Milan. We are holding extensive talks over a 50 million pound move for Rasmus Hojlund. They would be the three big signings this summer. It's 5 days before preseason. That's why I've got so much energy this morning, because it feels like United are actually, making moves, not waiting around. It feels like a long time since we've been able to say that. I'm going to run through all the latest on the Onana situation. Could we get here we go today? I said, what was it, on Monday? I said, I'm optimistic. I was on Wednesday. I said it. I was like, you know what? I just get the sneaky feeling that Manchester United, we might be able to sign Onana before preseason, and that's the way it's gone. Sometimes it's nice when you're correct on these things, because I'm not really correct all the time. But who's here in the comments? Good morning to the community. Today's going to be a cracker of a show. I think you're going to enjoy yourself, and I know I certainly will. Teresa, good morning to you. Stu, you're there. Got David Peter on Facebook. Good morning to you, Miss Teacup. David Jackson. Anyway, Sam, you're there. Stefan, Gwynfort on YouTube. Simon Kennedy, Charlie, and you're there. Josh, you're there. Llewellyn, Derek, Devo, David Cornett. There's so many of you. Good morning to the whole community on YouTube and on Facebook too. Now, something I'm happy to say to kick off the show here. Podcast is back. After a month's break, it was me, Jake, and Bao last night. We had a good old conversation about Mason Mount, about the takeover, or the lack of, about Rasmus Hojlund, Andre Onana. It was a good 40-minute chat and a nice catch-up. We haven't had a pod for a month, because let's be honest, if we had done a podcast in the last month, right, it would have been pretty miserable. It would have just been, what's happened? Nothing. What's happening with the takeover? Nothing. Oh, okay, so what should we talk about? Well, I don't know. Let's moan about the fact that nothing is happening. That's why we gave a little bit of a delay on the podcast. But if you haven't listened to it, the podcast link, I just dropped it in the comments there. I think you'll enjoy it. It's a good episode. I am really looking forward to the show today. And I think you should be as well, because, as I said, United are going hard and fast for Onana. And it's a polar opposite of how we were acting in the first month of the window, wasn't it? There was a lot of bubbling. I think it was mainly caused by the takeover, but there was a real palpable sense of frustration, like verging towards anger among United fans. I remember, I think it was maybe last week, the week before. I think it was 2 weeks ago when I was covering the news, and you could see it in the comments. You could see how people were speaking and reacting. There was a kind of like a bubbling anger in the United fan base. And isn't it amazing what a signing or two can do? That's the ultimate power of football, right? The ability to somehow, every single year, no matter what happened last year, you make a couple of signings and you think, well, there you go. I can start again. Everything is perfect. Everything's going to work out. Like that's the power of the transfer window to sort of transform where you were when you finished the season and your expectations and hopes going into the new season. And that's why football has this incredible ability to every single year just bring you back. And I'm going into next season now, probably more excited than I have been for a long old time. Anyway, let's not get too excited yet, because we've only made one signing and we haven't even made the Onana signing yet. Let me cover the full story and bring you back up to date with the Onana news. And I think you know me here on United People's TV. I don't like to over-exaggerate headlines. Sometimes I'm guilty of it. But I really do feel like we could be getting the here we go today. It's very, very close on this Onana situation. Let me explain it to you. 1 second. Let me pull this up here so I don't miss it. Let's get it on. Right? Well, let's not get it on. Let's get the show started. It's only very different. So yesterday, of course, we knew that Manchester United put that 50 million euro bid in for Onana. We went live yesterday afternoon with an extra show, and I asked you as a community, I said, do you think Inter Milan is going to accept that bid? And 71% of you said yes. I can't remember what I said. I'll be totally honest. But I felt if they weren't going to accept, I thought, wow, they really are driving a hard bargain. Let's fast forward. Fabrizio Romano last night saying that Inter Milan were indeed not going to accept that 50 million euro bid. But all of us know that there is a very small gap there between the price that we're offering and the price that Inter Milan want. And that's why I've always felt that the confident that this deal could happen. Simon, you're saying you think I agreed? Maybe I did. Maybe I hoped that it would get done at 50, but I can't blame Inter for trying to squeeze a little bit more out of it. And that is what it looks like they are doing. Oh, I've got that up twice. That's stupid. So United there have been told that 50 million is not enough. And DiMarzio there last night saying that Inter Milan want 55 million euros. Of course, that's only 5 million euros short of their opening 60 million euro valuation. So you could say, well, Inter Milan are winning the negotiations here. And look, I could say that, but I could also say that Manchester United are getting a world-class transformative signing for less than 50 million sterling. And I would say, well, that is ridiculously good value. And I will stand by that. I think Inter Milan are going to be, well, they got Onana on a free, didn't they? And all of a sudden they're going to sell him for 55 mil. Inter are laughing. I think this really is a transfer where everyone wins. Inter Milan get the money they want for a free transfer. Wow, it's a big win. Big profit. Man United get the goalkeeper we want in Onana. Huge transformative signing. And at a relatively decent price. Onana gets the move he wants. It really is one of those situations where everybody wins. Dazzy, you're saying is a bargain, and I would absolutely agree with that. I'm going to call you Say. You're saying just sharing love for the channel community. Thank you very much, dude. Honestly, I look forward to this every day. I've got loads of energy today because it feels like, I don't know. I didn't expect it. I think that's probably it. I really genuinely felt like this takeover would just loom large over Manchester United this summer and it would just be the same old. But it's quite the opposite. Tyrell, you're saying, has Ten Hag replaced any of the coaching staff? I've had my video prepared on Matt Hargreaves for a while. He's the sort of new chief negotiator. And you could say that what's going on here is a better set of negotiations for Manchester United. In terms of, you might disagree with the prices, but we're not waiting 3, 4, 5 days between bids, right? That's an improvement on negotiations because previously it was like handbrake. I think a lot of that came from the Glazers, by the way. The fact that Joel Glazer had to sign everything off. And maybe what we're witnessing here is Joel Glazer not being directly involved at this level now. Whereas previously he was. Maybe that's just an assumption and just a guess, right? Gary, you're saying get Gravenberch on loan. Yes, please. I think that would be a super signing. Let's see what else you're saying down here in the comments before I move on. Honestly, just give them 50 million euros flat, no add-ons. That would solve the issue. United won't be given 50 million euros flat. It will be a staggered. It's a bit like Declan Rice. Arsenal today, I think, is going to have his medical. It's 100 million, but it's going to be paid over 3 installments over 2 years. You're not going to rarely will you see a transfer in the modern game that's just, how much is it? 50 million euros? Oh, there's 50 million euros up front. It's always staggered payments. Otherwise, your account books for that year would be absolutely obliterated. Oh, wow. Gungshi is coming in strong here. The man himself with the Sweet Friday vibes. There's the Gongshi. Can't see it. There's a Gongshi for Gungshi himself. Mate, you are a hero. Manoil, how you? I remember you've been here for a long old time. How you doing? Thanks for super chat. I really like Onana's skills, but I'm concerned about his lack of discipline and getting into scandals. By scandals, do you mean taking his wife's pills when he thought it was aspirin and getting banned for like 9 months? Or has he been doing other, I don't know, maybe he's been doing other scandals. I'm not going to be like a tabloid newspaper, right? I'm not going to be like, right, okay, so we've got Andre Onana here, right? We've got, right, brilliant. So what is he? He's a great goalkeeper, yeah. Yeah, but what's he done wrong? No, let's just talk about, right, so he's great goalkeeper, good possession. He's played with Ten Hag before. I know all the positives, but what's he done wrong? Oh, he got banned for 9 months. Right, cool, let's run with that. I won't do that here on United People's TV. I'll take the full picture and understand it all. But yeah, I won't be going down that path. Now, here is Alex. Is Zion Suzuki on the list? Come on, people. I've updated the board a little bit here. Nikhil, actually, that's a fair point there. You said you had mentioned the June 30th date. Past that, we'll sign players. It looks like that was the reason. It really has felt like that. Like the shackles have just come off. All of a sudden, the credit card's got 160 mil on. And John Murtaugh's like, I've got it. I've got it, lads. Mo Salah, he fell out with the national team. He didn't fall out with the national team. Onana. He said, I want to play out from the back with the ball. I'm going to do it. His coach said, no, you're not. And booted him out of the team. So I wouldn't really say that's falling out with the team at all. It's just a clash of styles. But this is where I suppose the excitement is coming from me this morning when it comes to Onana. It's coming from Mike Verweij, who, of course, I obliterated his name about 100 times here on the channel last summer. He is the chief reporter from the Telegraaf out in Holland. And seeing as we were linked with every man and his dog from Ajax last summer, I was basically bringing updates here every single day from Mike Verweij. So the fact that he's weighing in here on Onana and saying, look, you can read it down the bottom. Ten Hag's club. Let's go a little bit full screen there. I'll bring it up closer. Ten Hag's club is approaching an agreement with Inter about the transfer of approximately 55 million euros and has outlined the agreement with Onana himself. So that is Mike Verweij from the Telegraph saying that Man United are closing in on that deal of approximately 55 million euros. Now, the nuances of that deal, let's find out, right? I imagine Manchester United will probably try a similar path that we did with Mason Mount. We paid 55 million upfront for Mason Mount. Could raise to 60 mil with the extra 5, but to get that extra 5 mil, we've got to win the Premier League. We've got to win the Champions League. Difficult add-ons is what it was called. Maybe Manchester United will do a similar thing here. We'll offer 50 million euros upfront with 5 million euros if Onana makes 200 appearances for Manchester United. If Onana wins the Premier League or the Champions League with Manchester United. Inter Milan might not like that, but that could be the middle ground. Because as I said it before, like if we end up paying 60 mil for Mason Mount, it means he's been a successful signing because we won the Premier League and we won the Champions League. And we'll happily give Chelsea that extra 5 mil. At that point, it won't matter. It was worth the investment. Nikhil, you're excited about Onana as well. You know what I'm excited about as well? One step further. Not only are we getting towards that, here we go, on Onana, because we're seeing that 55 mil agreement is there. Inter Milan are already in talks to sign his replacement. Actually, 2 replacements. Jan Sommer from Bayern Munich and Anatolij Trubin. 2 goalkeepers. I think a more experienced one in Jan Sommer and a younger one in Trubin. Inter Milan are already looking elsewhere. They're planning for life post Onana, and that in itself is a real good indicator of how close we are. Oh, that's the wrong one. I'll speak about Suzuki next. On getting that Onana deal. And mate, I've got a beaming smile on my face. My video at lunchtime today is going to be on how transformative a signing Onana will be. I can't remember when I started saying it. I've just felt it all season long watching David De Gea, man. Like I love De Gea, but life evolves. Life changes. Football changes. And what worked before won't necessarily work now. It's just, it's what happens. It's like society moves on. Football moves on. Football now is not what it was 10 years ago. Football 10 years ago is not what it was 20 years ago, etc., etc. And David De Gea, unfortunately, is one of the he's the cannon fodder for it. He's the one that suffered at Manchester United as a consequence. But it's not been difficult to watch Manchester United and really feel that a new goalkeeper is necessary. If it was anybody else, maybe apart from De Gea, I think the United fan base would have come to that conclusion a lot sooner. The reason it didn't was because of how good he had been over his career. He gave 12 years of his career to us. He was there through 7 managers. Absolutely deserves a testimonial. Deserved a better way out than has happened. I agree on that. But I don't agree on just holding on to the sentiment and just keeping him there. Andy, you're saying, is this a premature? Here we go. You know, I don't really do those. I feel very confident about this. Famous last words here. I might be the guy that, oh, Sam, well done. You told us it was it, and then nothing happened for like 3 days. But it really does feel like this is on the edge. Flashfire Fletch, you're asking about Onana's playing style. What's he good at? What's he bad at? I'm saving that for another video. I'll be doing a full scouting report and everything on Onana. But this is the transfer for me. It's weird getting so excited about a goalkeeper, but it's the exact same situation as look at City before they signed Ederson and after they signed Ederson. Look at Liverpool before they signed Ederson and after they signed Ederson, and compare those two teams, how they played, how confident, how much they dominated the ball. It wasn't possible before Ederson and Ederson arrived at those clubs. And it's because that's the way you play in the modern game. Certainly the Premier League. That's the way you have to do it. And man, this is for me a dream signing. Absolute dream signing. I had him down as a goalkeeper, down as the second most important signing we could make this summer. And I didn't think we would do. I thought we were going after Verweij, the keeper that Brighton have just signed. I thought we were going to sign a second string who's good, a different profile to De Gea. And then next season, we would just be watching De Gea and him sort of toy for the first team spot. But instead, Ten Hag has got a first choice, elite level, progressive goalkeeper who suits his style, who fits it, who just drops in like that, like a glove. And I personally think that Mason Mount is the same sort of thing going forward. Mason Mount just drops into the system of Ten Hag's very easily. And so does Onana. And maybe so does Hojlund. We'll speak about Hojlund next. Read a few of your comments out here. I think I don't want to miss any gifted memberships. I think I have. What have we got here? We've got, look at that, man. Every time I look at that, Saeed and Siam, the two Sias. Siamese twins? Look at that. Am I allowed that? I'm having that. Big up to both of you. Legends. And Paula, you just sent a super chat. What did you say there? Hi from my sick bad. Be back. Look. I hope you're obviously not well, but I hope you get better soon, Paul. And it's good to have you down in the comments with everybody. Dave, you're saying just need a striker now. And hey, you are not wrong there, man. We do need a striker. As much as I'll be positive about what we're doing and the movements, and I'll speak about Rasmus Hojlund in a little bit and the moves we're making, my gut feeling is that I think the striker situation would, it feels like it might drag on a little bit. Look at the size of that beezer. Someone needs to name him. Di Maria? Nobody wants him. Hopefully we'll be gone within the year. Well, hopefully within the year. Anyway, as much as we're talking about Onana, right? First choice goalkeeper. Last few days, we've been linked with a couple of different goalkeepers. This is Zion Suzuki, a young, I think he's 20, a young goalkeeper from the J League. Reports coming out from Japan, and that's all they are at this particular moment in time, linking us with Zion Suzuki, who's, as I said, a young goalkeeper. And this is why you have a whole scout. This is why you have people who work at Manchester United who do their in-depth scouting reports, who look across the globe, all different leagues, and they look at a profile of a player and they say, do you tick the box? Cool. Because let's be honest, who's been watching the J League? No one's been watching the J League. And maybe Manchester United have identified somebody here through their own scouting network and own behind-the-scenes work that maybe could really fit the profile, would be a relatively cheap signing, but somebody who matches what Ten Hag needs. That's all he is at this particular moment in time. We've also got Bayindir, who is the Fenerbahce goalkeeper. So these are two different goalkeepers that we've been linked with over the past 4 days, maybe. And both of them, you're talking about 5 million euros or less, right? We're not talking groundbreaking levels. We're talking about bringing in a goalkeeper who plays the sort of, because, right, this is something I've always said, right? Onana, okay? If De Gea was to stay on next year and would be Manchester United's number 2, the difference between Onana and De Gea would be night and day. And the thing that always I will go back to in my head was watching Ortega play for City against United in the FA Cup final. A match that was really important in their whole season. Ortega stepped in for Ederson. and you wouldn't have known it. Played the exact same way. In fact, he had a very good game. That wouldn't happen. That sort of continuation of style wouldn't happen between Onana and De Gea. Maybe it would happen between Onana and Suzuki, or Onana and Bayenda, or look at this, Onana and Kovar. Matic was back at Carrington yesterday. He's 23. He's a few years senior to Suzuki, and he won the Czech Republic League last year with Sparta Prague. Matic Kovar is one to watch, I think. The fact that he's there on day one of preseason, I think is good for him. Gives him the biggest opportunity now to impress Ten Hag, because the only goalkeepers Ten Hag has got there are I think there's 3 goalkeepers probably at training right now. I'm going to run through the full squad list a little bit later in the show, but I think we've got Tom Heaton, Dean Henderson, and Matic Kovar now at Carrington. Dean Henderson, we know, Forest, but I've updated the board a little bit here. I've got Dean Henderson, Forest for 30 mil. That's like 30 mil question mark. Dean Henderson feels like an absolute inevitability that he's going this summer. An absolute inevitability. Now, I'm interested to see how Kovar gets on. And I still need to have that conversation with somebody who watched Sparta Prague last season to understand what sort of goalkeeper is Kovar. Because if he is a goalkeeper that sort of stays on his line, doesn't really command his area, not very good with the ball at his feet, doesn't really deal well with pressure, then it won't really suit to bring him in as a backup to Onana, would it? That's why I'm going to be doing that. So we've got Onana and we've got Mike Verweij saying, look, that 55 million agreement, we're close now. It's going to be somewhere between 50 and this is what I mean. We're talking in the grand scheme of football transfers, we're talking about a very small difference in valuation. That's why we're on the edge of it. It's not like Mason Mount and our first bid when we were like 30 mil off and you were thinking, no chance. Alex, you're saying surely Henderson exit is agreed the moment Onana deal is agreed. I would expect it to move fast. After we agree that deal for Onana, I personally expect it to get a little bit quiet when it comes to signings. Although I will speak about the Rasmus Hojlund situation next. I imagine Man United's focus then moves specifically to sales. We're talking Dean Henderson. We're talking Fred. We're talking Elanga. And a few others as well. But let's move on to another big talking point, right? So if that's Mount, done. Onana, hey, look, maybe I'll be back here later today with a here we go. And what a Friday celebration that would be. And number 3, this man, Rasmus Hojlund. Charlie, you're saying we still need a striker and no United fan will disagree. And Ten Hag won't disagree either. The striker was always the priority this summer. What's changed is what striker we're going for. Start of the summer, we went after Harry Kane. That was the number 1 target this summer. I'll be honest, I still hope that at some point. And you're saying, look, I think we might see an unexpected late signing. Be Harry Kane. Be Harry Kane. If, and I don't think we will, but if we signed Harry Kane, I think it would be something that happened late in the window. I don't think it will, though. But this came yesterday from Sam Wallace and Jason Burt from the Telegraph that Manchester United are going to be launching a £50 million bid for Rasmus Hojlund. So what I'm going to do is run through the article for you now. We'll have a little conversation about Rasmus Hojlund in the comments. And also, a video I've got prepared for tomorrow, I'm going to take a look at a starting 11 with Hojlund, Onana, and Mount in. I'll tell you what, it looks a lot better. Looks a lot better than last season, that's for sure. Let's see what this article's saying. Manchester United will bid to make Rasmus Hojlund their first choice striker this window. The club have been working according to a strict budget of 5, we know that, but believe they can deliver Hojlund for around 50 million, although the deal might have to wait for the resolution in the Glazer sale process. Although I'll be totally honest, that's what was said about this whole window, wasn't it? That no transfers can happen. Everything is delayed. And then in this, I would never have expected it this summer. Of all the summers for Manchester United, to be delayed and dithering and slow, I think this summer was the one where there was justification for it. We're getting taken over. We don't know who actually is going to have the keys to the football club in a week's time, let alone who we're going to sign. Yeah, after all of that, it's actually the summer where we're moving swiftly. So something has changed behind the scenes. Something has. Whether it's, as I said, Joel Glazer relinquishing involvement and therefore things can move quicker rather than waiting X amount of hours for him to say yes or no to every single thing. Maybe it's that. Maybe it is Matt Hargreaves. Maybe it's John Murtough. Maybe it's Erik ten Hag. Something has changed behind the scenes at United this year. And whatever it is, it's a good thing. United have been pushed hard for the 60 mil Mason Mount fee. We know that. We don't need to know about that. Goal scorer must be found. We know that too. Andre and goalkeeper too. Andre Onana. Not much there. I'm going to run through this in a little bit. Right. That's kind of all you need to know. It's basically the headline. It's the story. Man United have identified Rasmus Hojlund as the guy. And you know what was just reported there from the Manchester Evening News is that John Murtough is going down the extensive talks for it. We're not just talking. It's like extensive talks. Like you don't watch Lord of the Rings. You watch the Lord of the Rings extended edition, right? That's the sort of Hojlund talks we're having now. It's in depth, and it's Ten Hag identifying this man as a striker that he wants to get. Jake, a really good question down there. Are we the only club after Hojlund? I've not heard Bayern Munich sniffing around. And if I'm looking at who's after a striker, Chelsea, they could technically be in the market for him, but they're too busy getting their pants pulled down over Moises Caicedo. I haven't seen anything really linking Hojlund to anybody else, which is a good thing, right? I think it's certainly a good thing. What do you think about Hojlund, right? Because I think the price is going to annoy a lot of people. And I think it should. Let's be honest. £50 million for a 20-year-old developing striker who's just had it. I mean, it wasn't even that much of a breakthrough season. He's just had his first full season in Serie A and scored 8-9 goals. £50 million for that player is come on. That's outrageous. SSMUFC, you're saying it's United tax. I don't think it's United tax. I think it's the consequence of the Premier League's Super League status. There is so much money in the Premier League now. I can't blame Atalanta for trying to exploit that when a club comes calling. If Borussia Dortmund was trying to sign Rasmus Hojlund, you could look at that and you'd be like, right, that kind of feels like a Dortmund signing, doesn't it? Somebody who's got quality, got talent, not quite at the top level yet, but then develop him for a couple of years and sell him for 100 mil. That's the sort of signing that would make perfect sense for Dortmund. They would be paying half price. They'd be paying 20, 30 mil for Hojlund, and nobody would really bat an eyelid. They'd be like, fair enough. That could be a good signing. It's a lot of money, yeah. But also something to think about. It's not just the Premier League tax. It's, I think it's the lack of top-level strikers that are available in the market. Harry Kane is in a class of his own, right? But Spurs don't want to sell to a Premier League rival. Osimhen has been completely priced out of a move. He'll stay at Napoli this year. He'll leave Napoli next summer for, I imagine, 70 to 80 million. And that'll be the Osimhen timeline. Ramos, no one's really been linked with Ramos at all, which I find kind of strange because he's definitely a player of quality, but no one's been linked with Ramos. Moani, that's a player we were linked with, but you're talking 80 million there for Moani because he's about a year, 18 months ahead of Hojlund in his development. So you have to pay for that privilege. It's an expensive market for strikers. Is it a lot for Hojlund? Yep. It's Matej Kovar, not Matic. I said Matej. Wait, come on, people. As if you're picking me out on that. Damn. Tough crowd here. Very, very tough crowd. What are we saying in the comments? Let me read a few of these out. Moani is 4 years older than Hojlund. There you go. I didn't actually know he was 4 years older. I just knew he was further down the line in terms of his development. But that's what you got to pay for. He's a more developed and rounded player now, and you pay for that privilege. You don't have to develop him. He comes more developed. Different strikers at different stages of their career. Alex was talking about the markets being hyperinflated, and now this is the issue with the Hojlund fee. Everywhere's been inflated. Thank you very much, Chelsea Football Club. They did this with Abramovich, and Chelsea set the path for where the Premier. Look, maybe you could say the Premier League set its own path for when it even became the Premier League back in '92. But Chelsea changed everything in 2000. Was it 3 when Abramovich took over? And everything that's happened since is a direct consequence of what they started there. They laid the first route. And they did it again this summer. So this summer is a direct consequence of Chelsea going absolutely balmy in January transfer window. Was it 120 mil for Enzo Fernandez? 120 mil. That's got to go. Oh, my God. That's such a crazy, crazy figure. But Hojlund for 50 million euros. It's a lot. Yeah. 50 million pounds. Sorry. My bad. 50 million is a lot. But I tell you what, if Ten Hag has identified him, then great. And look at this, right? What do you think about this? Big up to, actually, no, I made this one, but big up to Ollie for making the template. What do you think about this as Manchester United starting 11? Say this was our starting 11 when we played Wolves on the opening day of the season. What would you rate that out of 10? Right? I'd like to know, because this is the video that I'm going to do tomorrow, my Saturday video. Am I going to do this or am I going to do a live show? I might do a live show. Maybe this will be a Sunday video. Either way, I'm going to do this video because I'm excited about it. Looking at that team there, I'm just seeing a strengthened attack in a place where we have weaknesses before. I'm looking at a strengthened midfield in a place where we have weakness before. I'm looking at a totally different looking defense because of the arrival of Onana. What are you saying in the comments, right? Emmanuel, you're going for a 7. Frank, you're going for a straight 10-age. Robert, you're going for an 8. Jasper, an 8. Carla, 9. Shader, an 8. Jack, you're saying 8.5. Tyrell, you're saying a 9. Pablo, you're saying 8.5. Anderson, you're feeling confident. You're going for a straight 11. Jeez. Ian, you're saying loving the chat today. I'm loving the chat today as well, man. Isn't it amazing what happens when a couple of signings come in? Like the frustration comes off and you're like, I love football again now. I'm giving that at least an 8, that starting 11. Do I have question marks and concerns? Yes, I do. Where are my question marks? Can Hojlund come in next season and be the striker that we need? It's a lot of responsibility to put on a 20-year-old who's only had like one breakthrough season in Serie A. It might work, all right? Who's to say it won't? Hojlund could just be a gem of a signing. And with the right coaching from Ten Hag and his staff and Benny McCarthy, could explode. That could happen. And that in itself is exciting. Where else have I got concerns? That's my only real, I suppose that's my only real major concern there. If I wanted to pick holes, I could pick holes. And I'll do a little bit more of that in the video that goes out. But that there is a fantastic starting 11 compared to where we were last year. Somebody down there saying Kane would make it a 10. Harry Kane would make it a 10, wouldn't he? Harry Kane would make it a 10. Lots of you are firing in your questions and concerns about the 11 and the squad depth. I'll cover all of that in the video that I put up. But I'll tell you what, from where we were last year to where we are with that starting 11, that's some upgrade. That really is some upgrade. Right, what we've got as our next talking point. Because as I said, as much as I'm excited about the idea here of Hojlund, it strikes me that this is the transfer that might take a little bit longer to get done. Hopefully done before the first game of the season, obviously, but I don't think this is going to get done in the next week or 10 days, right? Even if Manchester United are in extensive talks with Atalanta, I think those talks might continue for a little bit longer. But let's go. This is where I think the energy now moves towards sales. United are looking at the sale of one or all of Maguire, Sancho, Fred McTominay, Martial, Telles, Elanga, Bailly, and there's others as well. Brandon Williams in that list. You know, one player that's, Anthony Martial is mentioned there. I think because of how difficult the striker market is this season, I think Martial's going to sneak another year at United. I'm not upset about it, but I know what's going to happen. I know what's going to happen. I hope it doesn't, but I know it will. But Maguire, Sancho, McTominay, one that is definitely going to happen is Dean Henderson, right? That feels like a matter of time now. As soon as Onana comes in, Dean Henderson is going to be leaving. Look, Donny van der Beek wasn't on that list. But we should be making plenty of sales. There's only... Who have we got on here? I've only got Dean Henderson to Forest. But this... I'm going to have to write really bloody small to get all the names in here that I think should be leaving the club this summer. I'll tell you that for free. I think I might... Did I miss some gifted memberships? I hope I didn't. Stefan. Oh, look, I caught a member comment. The same situation as with Martial. Let's hope the same thing doesn't happen. I hope so, man. Fizz, how you doing, man? You've gifted 5. I hope I didn't miss any gifted memberships down there. I hate when I do that. Look at that. Martinez on the wall. Fred on the wall. Martinez on the wall. Segway. Yeah, boy. My guy's back. My guy's back. I'm a fan of the haircut as well, by the way. I could rock that haircut. Pretty similar. It's just he's significantly better looking. Well, you know, that's what happens. But Martinez is back into it. I can't wait to see this bloke back. Imagine what we're going to be looking like. If, as I said, if you go back to this, that trio there, right? Sure. That is a really bad circle. Let me just try and hand draw a circle here. Look at that. 10 out of 10 for me for that. I even made it connect. Shaw, Martinez, and Onana in terms of playing out from the back with the ball. Mwah. Mwah. Mason Mount dropping deep to help. Oh, United down the left-hand side next year is going to be a problem for people. But yeah, we missed him. I remember when he got that injury, I thought season over. Well, season wasn't quite over, but it was a drag towards the end. Let's be honest. And him being back, man, I can't wait to see him play. David, thank you very much for Super Chat, dude. What are you saying? Sam feels so good now being a United fan. Ten Hag knows what he's doing. With the constraints we have, he is working serious manage. Erik, owner's messed up, but Erik Ten Hag has put lipstick on our oik dog. I have no idea what that means. But yeah, that's my short video that's going out today, David, on TikTok and on YouTube Shorts as well. Is about the overwhelming sense of positivity I have with the direction that we're heading in this transfer market. We really are working towards profiles now and not big signings. And now you might say, oh, well, Sam, this is what? Surely you should be annoyed because we're just signing players that the manager wants. But I would say no, because the concept here is now when Ten Hag leaves, we replace him with another younger version of Ten Hag, and the philosophy and the identity that he embeds into Manchester United, this is going to be the modern Manchester United for the next 10, 15 years or so at least. This is the foundations that he is setting now is what we should be as a football club and how we play for a good long time. Just like Fergie had his imprint. Of course, it was different because Fergie never left, right? We played 4-4-2 and we switched to 4-3-3. When Carlos Queiroz came in, adopted the more... We've struggled with identity massively between Fergie and Ten Hag. Now it feels more than ever that we really are going to be working towards something that sticks. And that's exciting. Nikhil, you're saying, hi, Sam. Do you think Onana's sweeping mitigates the lack of speed from Maguire if he plays? Would you play Bruno and Mount versus City and Liverpool? So well, that's 2 questions. So you're cheating there. First, I said it yesterday. I think Maguire would probably be a little bit of a better player with Onana, but it doesn't change the fact that I still think he should be sold. And there's no point us talking about who's playing against City and Liverpool yet, because we don't know what the teams are completely. What are you saying in the comments down here? Nearly 3,000 people watching. Jeez! Drop a like on the video, people. There's only 500 of you who've dropped a like on the video. 2,500 of you sitting there going, nah, I'm just enjoying myself too much. Come on, it'll take 1 second. It makes a big, big difference to the community. SS, you're saying Carrick in years down the line after Ten Hag. Can't rule it out, but let's just enjoy what Ten Hag is doing right now. And let's take a look at who was back at preseason training yesterday, because I thought that was an interesting talking point. Let's run through the names. We've got Martinez was there, Van der Beek, Fred, Anthony, Mason Mount. He was there, straight in training. Tom Heaton and Dean Henderson were both there. Look, Ahmad, Alvaro Fernandez. I think it strikes me that he'll probably go back out on loan, simply because we've got Shaw and Malacia, and there's really not much. There's not much of a pathway for him at left back at United. He's a very good left back. Had a really good loan spell at Preston. Will Fish, Hannibal. Again, I'm not sure if there's going to be a route through for Hannibal. Maybe we'll see. Maybe he'll go in pre-season. Matej Kovar, Charlie Savage back from Forest Green Rovers. Shoda Shoretire, Varane, Wan-Bissaka, Williams, Martial, Sancho. See, look, first day of the pre-season. Let's go a little bit bigger there. Plenty of first-team players there. Now, of course, the players that weren't there were players who were in, if I'm correct anyway, players who were involved in international duty. That's why they're not there. But there's still plenty of first-team players and a lot of youngsters who get that. I've always said that this is the opportunity for these young players. They get so much more focus and attention of Erik ten Hag. So right now, Matej Kovar, this is your time, bro. Before we've signed this man here, use it. Use your opportunity. Take Ten Hag's attention. Daniel, cheers, dude. You gifted 5 memberships. Let me read these 5 names out. We've got King Solomon, Stuart Stormtrooper, Ogunlowo, Owen, and is that 5? No, is that 4? 1, 2, 3, 4. I bleed red. Well, you do, because blood is red. So that's 5. Lots of you talking about Suzuki. I've already talked about him in the middle of the show. One player I'm dead excited about seeing, whose name actually isn't on this list there. Last year was all about Alejandro Garnacho's breakthrough. That was the youngster who just burst into the first team. You're like, wow, this dude looks like he belongs. Because he did belong. Kobbie Mainoo is the player I'm absolutely backing to. I don't think he's going to take the headlines in the same way that Garnacho will, because he's not. That's not his position. He's going to be a sort of a deeper central midfielder, someone who just recycles possession and makes everybody else play better around him. But he looks mature beyond his years. He looks ready for first team football. And I think next season, I suppose it depends on what goes on. We might still bring in someone like, who's it? Amrabat. We might bring in an Amrabat. Right, there we go. There's a little tweet from Fabrizio. Let's bring this up here. Lots of you wanted me to speak about this lad, and I'm just speaking about him now. Well, I spoke about him earlier, actually. But here we go. Suzuki. Manchester United have got him on their radar. You can just imagine like some submarine radar of transfers that just pop up. With United would be terrible. We've got like 75 things on a radar. Man United have got him on the radar. He's one of the options as a new backup. Nothing new, but United have been informed. So we've got Fabrizio Romano confirming the reports that Suzuki is on that list. Whether it's Suzuki, whether it's, can't remember his name, Bayinda from Fenerbahce, it looks like United are going after not only Onana, but also a backup. Now, I don't know what that means for the likes of Kovar and all the other goalkeepers, but United are making moves. And I said this yesterday. This could be a summer where United have De Gea leaving on a free. We sell Dean Henderson. Jack Butland leaves on a free. I reckon Tom Heaton will probably stay as third choice. And we sign Onana and we sign Suzuki. That's like 5-6 goalkeepers all moving around. There's so much to do in one summer. It's amazing. David Johnson, how you doing, buddy? How is FFP impacted with players leaving for free or out of contract? That's where it gets really quite confusing, because I think it changes according to whether that player is a homegrown talent or not, whether there's any fees associated in, where the profit is put. And that's why I've kind of hesitated on doing that video, just now. I'm not saying that I won't do it, but it's just at this moment in time, I'm still holding back on doing that. Let me see what's going on here. If there's any more big news, and if not, we'll head to, of course, the map because it's Friday. No, it feels like everything's covered at this moment in time. Because again, some people in the comments are trying to tell me stuff that's happened, and I don't know why you do it. Well, and actually, I know, but I know exactly why you do it. You want to distract me. You want to knock me off because it gives you a bit of a thrill. And it's a weird flex, man. But fair enough. If you haven't got anything else better to do in your life, then do that. Didn't work, though. I think there's only been one person. I think it was Orr who caught me out once by changing his username. Bastard. He got me there once. But look, there's so many of you tuning in, and maybe you don't know about this, but this is the United People's TV community map. We are up to now 462 different points, and every single point you see on this map is somebody who's been watching here over the last 18 months or so. I think we've been building this. And look at all the Reds around the world, all over there, down in Australia and New Zealand as well. You're kind of hiding because the map's too bloody big. Right, let's go there. Where are you watching from? I need the country and the city, and I'll try and get 3 or 4 of you added onto the map. Right? Llewellyn, how you doing, buddy? Just want to show you some support for community and give kudos for the analysis. You don't feed the hype and respectfully address opposing views. Cheers, man. I try my best. And I don't do it every time. I think like this Mason Greenwood situation, I'm not entertaining any difference of opinion on that because I don't think it's the sort of thing that should be open to public debate on this scale and size. It's dangerous if you did that. Something of that nature. But most things we can debate and argue about. I'll prove you're wrong, obviously, but most things we can debate. Now, let's see where you're watching from. We've got Waterford watching from Liberia, Monrovia City. I'm not sure we've got Liberia on the map. Have we got Liberia on the map? Is that where George Weah is from? I'd completely made that up. That's where he is. Is he the president of Liberia? I just totally made that up. President of Liberia. There you go, Waterford. You're on the map, and I'm giving myself 10 points for that pub quiz question. You want me in your team? I like a good pub quiz. We've got Elias watching from Hasselholm. Not Hasselhoff. Hasselholm. Home watching from Sweden. I've never been to Scandinavia. I'd love to go. I say this every time that I get the map up. I just get FOMO of not traveling because I want to travel so much more. I've seen plenty of the world. Been privileged enough to spend 3 months in Ghana, been Southeast Asia twice. I've done a road trip around most of Central Europe. There's so much more I want to see. And I love how many people fire in these comments, man. It puts a smile on my face. I always see there's quite a few hundred people who tune off, but I don't care, man. This is part of the community and part of the show. This is a big, big part of it. Let's see what else. David, you're on holiday in Osaka, Japan. That doesn't quite count, all right? But enjoy it. I've had 2 mates that went to Japan for nearly a month, and they had a cracking time. What we've got down here. We've got Bevan watching on Facebook from Victoria Falls in Zimbabwe. And then let's get one more on the map. Victoria Falls, man. Imagine going to visit them. Peace. One more. We've got... Let's get Gary watching from sunny Blackpool. Never been to Blackpool. Should I go? A shame what happened to Seaside in England. Blackpool. The same thing happened to Southend. It's miserable. But look, let's wrap that up there. And let's wrap the show up. That was a really fun show. And as I said, I think I'm kind of full of beans because I'm seeing Man United act how I want Manchester United to act in the market, like quickly, and it feels decisively now. You can say, oh man, how can you say it's decisive when it's taken weeks and weeks and weeks? If we've got Mount and Onana in before our preseason begins, and we've identified and we now know exactly who we're going after as a striker, that for me is major progress as a football club. And it's the last thing I expected, I'll be honest, in the summer where we're getting taken over. Right. I'll wrap this up for today. Thank you all for joining in. I think that was a really, really good show, if I do say so myself. I will be back. I reckon I'll be here tomorrow morning for a live stream. I think with everything that's going on, I think the Saturday's live streams I'm going to do more regularly during the summer. My lunchtime video today is going to be about how transformative a signing Onana is going to be. Look, I think down there, one thing, I'll make sure I don't miss this because quite a few of you are telling me, oh man, look at that. Indeed. Stu, you legend. What a perfect way to end the show with 5 gifted memberships and a spank of the gong from Stu. And I'll say one more time just to close out. Today, for the first time in a long time, there's a new episode of the podcast out. It's already out on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, wherever you listen to your podcast. Open your app up. Just type United People's Podcast in. You'll enjoy it. It's a good one. Ow. And actually, damn it. I keep forgetting about this, right? Let me bring this up. You can see it down there. I haven't pushed it at all throughout this whole week. Nobody's buying any tickets. It's the biggest one so far, value-wise. You can win a holiday for £1. I thought I'd do this one in July because I thought, actually an error occurred on YouTube. Let me see if I can post that link to you there. See if that works. If not, you just look in the description. You'll find the link, and you can also use the QR code there to buy your raffle ticket. As I said, from a value perspective, monetary, it's the biggest raffle prize so far. Get yourself a holiday in August. That's why I did it. But big up to the best community in the world. I loved it. I really, really enjoyed that show. Hope you did too. And I'll see you soon.